long!
I didn't really see the point, to be honest.
Neither do we.
I wrote a few things about what I wanted to say today, but the first thing I wanted to say is how amazing it is that there's so many people here. And when we think about the police tactics that we've seen recently in London and today, I think it's amazing there's so many people here, even though the BBC aren't going to broadcast it. So I was sitting last night thinking about what I was going to talk about today, and I watched a programme on the miners' strike, and it was really heartening for me, and it really came home to me about what Tory policies mean to me as a working class woman. And in my job every day as student president, it's my responsibility to represent the rights of students. And my students are working class students. And they're from working class communities, backgrounds and families. And they're continuously and disproportionately affected by Tory policies. Boo! And even though we pay for MPs 11% pay rises and we literally work till we die, is that good enough for Tories? Apparently not. This is just some of the bleak picture the Tory policies paint for people right now in my communities and on my campuses. Wave after wave of austerity favouring the rich while robbing the poorest and the most vulnerable. Bedroom tax is forcing people from social housing and leaves others fearing eviction or on incomes not fit to live on. Medical testing by computers are leaving disabled people in need and cut off from vital life funds.
Boo at us.
Boo! In some areas in Scotland, 1 in 3 children are living in poverty, an absolute disgrace compared with other European countries. Boo!
Shame!
Single parents' tax credits for people like me on a low income have been cut twice this year, and I make no bones about what that means for me and my son. That means I literally have to choose between heating my home or feeding my son.
Shame!
Shame! And I spoke to a nurse yesterday about the impact on health and austerity and what that means. And she told me the NHS were actually having to prescribe food for patients. And that is a disgrace.
Shame!
As a working class single parent woman, having been brought up by a working class single disabled parent woman, and having had the misfortune of living through not only this government, but Margaret Thatcher and John Major's government, that also disproportionately affected working class people and vulnerable groups, it is clear to me, and it's clear to everybody here today, that policies that marginalise, stigmatise and oppress the most vulnerable in society are still being pursued by this Conservative government. Policies that benefit the most well-off, privately educated and privileged seem high on the agenda. Working class people work until beyond the average age of death in Scotland communities and my communities to pay for MP's salary is a disgrace.
Shame!
Yeah. And we know that nobody wants to work until the drop, but the least they could do would take into account the regional differences in pension age. They could bring themselves to use some common sense, and because of that, millions of working class people will be left on the scrap heap. And I want to leave you with just one thing that I heard on that programme last night about the miners' strike, and it's something that a chap said at the end about the context of what that means today, and this is what he said, exactly as he said it. It's important to learn for your history, to see what's in front of you, because it will repeat itself again. It's repeating itself today. These injustices and these rights are trying to take away from you. You've got to stand up for them. And the reason you've got to stand up for them is because your bairns is coming in the back of you. And if you didn't stand up, there'll be nothing. And what will they say? It wasn't my fault, it was the generation before me. And we can't allow that to happen. I just want to leave you with one last thing. We need to make some noise. I just want to ask you a few questions and play along. Do you want to be working till you die?
No!
Do we, the people, deserve something better?
Yes!
Do pandas talk more sense than Tories?
Yes!
Should MPs give away their pay rises to charity?
Yes!
Thank you.
Shouldn't get them in the first place. Well done.